that. So how do we want to do this? Do we actually take attendance, Cindy Minicucci, or do you want me to take attendance, or how do you want to do it?
I usually call for the attendance.
Fire it up, kid.
Okay. Michael McCabe,
Yes.
Stefan Zaporowski,
Yes.
Shannon Barry,
Here.
Chris Carey, Ray Diaz, Brian Perret, Ralph Figge,
Present.
Lisa Benoit, Shelley Hazlitt,
Here.
Bridget Matthews Kane, Bill Park,
Here.
Cindy Sullivan,
Here.
Tammy Tess,
Here.
Chris Tolpa. Here. And Susan Dargy.
Here.
Welcome, everybody.
Cindy, did you call Brian Sullivan?
I'm here,
Oh.
but I don't think I heard my
Oh,
name.
sorry, Brian. I jumped
That's
over
all
it,
right,
Sorry.
Cindy.
Soon they forget.
It's all
Tammy,
right. I'm good with
you beat me
that.
to it. Also in attendance are,
Daniel Pilata, OPM.
how about Robert Tedisco?
Rob, are you here?
Curtis, are you here?
No, I think it's just myself, Burt Gardner, and Jim Hannafin from Kalo.
And Jim, where are you, Jim?
Yep.
I heard something somewhere.
Yes, I'm here. Jim's here.
I got you, Jim. Thank you. Okay, like to call the meeting to order.
Looks like Ray Diaz is on now.
Tammy,
And Brian Ferret's on too.
as is Ray Diaz. I got you, Ray.
Yeah, and I've got an appointment at 5:30, so I can hang on until 5:30, and I'll leave quietly.
We don't want you ever to leave quietly. That's not you, Ray. Come on. So is there anybody we missed? I don't think so, right? And is there anybody here for public participation? Seeing none. About some summary of community correspondence.
There is none.
Have any community
We do
correspondence?
not have any.
This is moving well so far. This is good. Approval of the May 25th, 2022 school building meeting minutes.
I'll move for approval.
I have a movement and I have a second from who, Brian?
Yeah,
And motion been made and seconded by Brian. Cindy, you want to call the roll?
Michael McCabe,
Yes.
Stefan Zaporowski,
Yes.
Shannon Barry,
Yes.
Ray Diaz,
Yes.
Ralph Figge,
Yes.
Brian Perret,
Yes.
Shelley Hazlitt,
Yes.
Bridget Matthews Kane, Bill Park,
Yes.
Brian Sullivan,
yes,
Cindy Sullivan,
Yes.
Tammy Tess,
Yes.
Chris Tolpa,
Yes.
and Susan Dargy.
Yes.
Super. Update from owner's project manager and designer.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome.
As you know, we are about to submit the 60% drawings, construction drawings. That's the next milestone. We have two major milestones left before construction, and that would be the 60% and the 90%. That's pretty much it for MSBA. After that, we'll be in bidding. Schedule-wise, we are holding the schedule that we presented to you a couple of months back with bidding going out in late December or February, I'm sorry, February. And the 90% drawings going out in December. So we're in pretty good shape. We've got a small presentation, and I mean small presentation from Bert that we'd like to go through between DD and SD and DD. If you recall, we had quite a bit of price increasing with regards to the current inflation crisis hitting the nation. We're happy to report that that has stabilized some, and that the VE efforts that you voted have held true. So we would like to just go through those again quickly and give you a quick presentation.
I'm getting a little bit of feedback, so I don't know where it's coming from. So if, I don't want to sound like the vice principal of the school. So if you're not speaking, can you do me a favor? Can you just mute your microphone? And then Bert, you want to go from here?
Yeah, I was wondering if I can share my screen.
Sure. Go ahead. Where's Ken Stamsky?
It's saying I'm disabled from participant screen sharing still.
So I think that Ken Stamsky is
Try
still
that now.
active.
I just
Came live.
activated
Okay,
it.
Thanks, Ken.
there we go. Yep, thank you. Give me just a second as I get it all lined up here. Okay, so you should see this, the starting slide at this point, I think. If at any point you guys don't see what's on it, just let me know. And Dan, did you want to take these first slides, or do you want me to go through these?
I'll be happy to, Bert.
Okay.
So the building size, as you recall, is 88,495. The eligible building space from the grant is 86,288, 2,207 square feet of ineligible space, which is really, really a small amount for a school. At project scope and budget, which was when we got our grant, which we call the project scope and budget amendment. Construction costs were at $50,430,464. After reconciling the latest two estimates, which we did a couple of weeks ago, and verified all of the value engineering and incorporated the value engineering in the drawings, the 60% estimated construction costs is slightly less, $50,428,826. So we're still on target. We do not need to add any value engineering at this time, which is great, which means that, all the hard work that the teams have done in the past few months has held true. So the VD engineering survey summary, if you recall, we talked about floors and ceilings and millwork and openings and technology, and you voted all of those. We did some masonry, structural masonry value engineering, a little bit of structural work on the ceiling, on the roof framing, and we removed some of the canopies, the additional canopies that were excessive beyond the front entrance. We took out the playgrounds, but due to the reconciliation, we've put them back in the base bit. So what we took out last time, we've added back in. So that's a positive. So the VE worked, and the playgrounds are back in. We did some landscaping and some HVAC changes. The HVAC changes were the largest, and the HVAC design to that estimate is ongoing. So these four items are new VE that we added post-meeting after the last VE that we had done. When we had done the VE, we were short about 237,000, and MSBA wouldn't accept that. They wanted us to get to the exact number, so we added some additional removal of some clouds, and we did some interior walls, furring, and we removed some wall protection. We replaced a folding glass wall at the media center and put in a set of double doors. And, we took out toilet accessories since the city uses a contract where they provide their own accessories. There's no need for us to purchase them. And we're going to put in the BDA system, infrastructure only, test it. And if we need to add the BDA, we'll add the BDA using contingency.
So you want me to take over?
Schedule, you want
Okay.
to take over on schedule, you can.
It's okay. I mean, really, nothing's changed on the schedule as far as when we're going to bid the project. That's still documents available on February 1st. Because of the VE change to the HVAC system is a significant amount of work. We did adjust the 60% submission and the 90% submission date within our overall schedule. So rather than going, originally we were supposed to be going to MSBA this week, but we pushed that off until September 13th. So about an extra month there. And then we've got our 90% submission going to MSB in mid-December. So December 13th, where that was going in towards the end of November previously. But none of that impacts the required MSBA review times for us to get responses back to them. And most importantly, it doesn't impact when we're going out to bid or when we're opening bids. And our notice to proceed is still scheduled for April of 23. So I think that we're in very good shape with the schedule at this point. Nothing really has changed except some internal dates. Some of the milestones we hit while we've been going through the 60% phase is we did register the project with LEED with the US GBC, US Green Building Council on July 18th. So we've got that paperwork to submit in support of the project to MSBA. We've also submitted our zoning notification form, which is kind of the first steps as far as getting the permitting going for the building. Once that's returned, reviewed and returned to us from the building department, we'll look at starting the site plan approval process. We did meet for one city roundtable discussion to meet with the department heads of the various city departments on May 26th. Anticipate that we might have a second meeting follow up with them. But there was no significant concerns that came out of that. So I think we're in good shape there. And then we've had several, similar to every phase, we've had several design meetings along the way just to continue developing things and make sure that as we put the construction documents together, we're remaining on track and consistent with what the educational program was looking for from the onset of the project. So we've met to talk about colors and finishes, confirm the HVAC, what the BE option was proposing. We've met 3 times for security. We've had a discussion specifically about the media center and specifically about the stage programming. We've also looked at lighting packages for the school. We've had another design development meeting for the playgrounds, a separate hardware and security meeting to kind of follow up on our security to make sure that that the specifications we're writing for the hardware and the hardware sets we're putting together are well coordinated with what your security intent is. And then we also had a meeting with MSBA this past month, a week or so ago, probably 2 weeks ago at this point, where we just gave them an update on where the project has progressed to since the project scope and budget agreement was established back at the end of the schematic design phase.
Bert, can I
Yeah.
jump in for just a second? I
Yeah.
just want to recognize that Bridget Matthews Kane has entered at 5:15. Okay. Keep rolling, Bert.
All right, we're back in it. So just to kind of share with the committee here where we're at, there's really been minimal to no organizational changes in the building or programmatic changes in the building since design development, and this is what we like to see. Our effort now is really focused on bringing the construction documents further along and getting them ready to bid and put out on the street for people to put real numbers to. And the part that talks about your programming and the reasons we're doing things, that's the narrative binders that we put together. It lists all the project requirements, and really that document, our effort kind of shifts from that document now to our construction documents. So we're right where we want. If there's a lot of changes going on to talk about between, you know, each submission, then that binder document and all the narratives have to continue to be a high effort. But that is certainly dropping off now because things are progressing the way we would want them to on the project. So as far as the site layout, it's still essentially the same as what we looked at back in DD. You've got your green space and play fields. To the north of the building, we've got school bus traffic entering from Franklin Avenue. All the parents will come in off of Franklin Street, and we've got a long queuing line set up here so that they drop their students off down by the cafeteria. And then we've got a curb cut reserved just for emergency vehicles or for really large deliveries. And the traffic flow is one way through the site, and everybody exits out the parking lot ultimately. 88 parking spaces with 10 off-site spaces still provided on Franklin Avenue for people visiting the field after hours. All right, as far as the massing of the building, there's not been any changes since design development, except that the canopies that we're showing here have gone to an alternate. The entrance canopy remains in the basement, but some of these flat canopies have moved to alternates just to kind of protect us on bid day to make sure we've got a awardable project. The images on the left are where we're at during schematic design, and you can kind of see that the improvements that in the development that the project's taken, I think, in a positive way since a year ago at this time. Looking at the first floor plan, again, no significant changes from design development. We've basically at design development did some reworking of the early ed wing to remove changing rooms from the kindergarten classrooms. We reshuffled a lot of the admin spaces during design development to address both the security need for a pass-through window, better supervision from the office reception staff and the admin staff there, and we had decoupled the meeting function and from the principal's office. So overall, the square footage of the principal and meeting is the same, but we've broken out a separate meeting room and just sized the principal's office to handle the administrative duties of the principal and maybe a meeting with one or two people privately in that office. That affords more flexibility to schedule different meetings during the day while the principal might have a need to be in her office. In the media centers, the other change here is we basically just strengthen the corner of the building during design development by giving some definition to the tower element there, and on the interior that creates a soft seating area. As a result of that, the two meeting rooms shrank 20 square foot each, but they're still plenty large to support your adjustment, your academic coaches, and your flexible meeting requirements that you had listed in the educational program. This looks just a little bit closer at these, what it was at schematic design. You can see we've kind of bumped that out. This is not our most recent floor plan, furniture plan, I mean, but it's pretty close to where we're at right now. We've got some special displays over here. We've got the story time corner here. Stacks will be between the circulation desk and where you see these tables. The tables are still planned as the classroom space, and then there's another soft seating area within the window area or the tower element. Just zooming in, you can see in this image where we've incorporated the pass-through window now directly adjacent to the receptionist counter or workspace kind of behind the wall there, whereas before the reception was here and we really didn't have a good adjacency for a pass-through window back at schematic design a year ago. And here you can just see how we've taken the conference room at 210 square feet and the principal's office at 164 square feet and kind of decoupled those programs. We also got more more information during the design development phase. So the records room is 69 square feet, but that's specifically sized for what the school need is. Plus, we've built in some additional capacity in case the population grows unexpectedly over the next 50 years. In mailroom, same thing. We've got it sized to support the number of staff that you've got in kind of a one-way traffic flow in and out at the beginning and end of the day. This just kind of shows you where we were sharing a changing room in the kindergarten classrooms. And then each of them, the rooms had a toilet room. We've taken the changing function out of that. And only left changing in preschool. By the time the students are old enough to be in the kindergarten program, if there's a need for changing, they'll go to the nurse's office right at the end of the corridor and have that taken care of. What this did is it gave a little bit more square footage back into each of the kindergarten classrooms. So they've got a little bit more program area for their actual academic program. Looking at the second floor, again, no changes since design development, which is a good thing. That's what we want. The big change at design development, if you recall, is that we did switch the OTPT classroom space, which had been over in this space here, and we moved it, we swapped it out with the ETL and the SPED Supervisor, which were down here. You can see them on the schematic design, the two offices and the OTPT, and we've kind of swapped them out. This gave the OTPT some outside windows, and still we've got the borrowed light from the courtyard to get into some of these smaller offices. Sure, everybody remembers that because we touched the SPED program at design development, we had to resubmit to DESE. I'm happy to say that we received our approval from DESE a couple weeks ago anyways. It might have even been in late July, but we did hear back from MSBA and they confirmed that DESE's reviewed the changes that we made to the SPED program at DD and everything's been approved. They still feel that the project is meeting their requirements for serving the special needs population in the school. The other thing we did that was part of the special ed shuffle at DD is we had taken a sensory room that was on the south side of the corridor and we moved it over to the north side of the corridor. And as a result, some toilet room locations were changed and the IDF room moved up kind of closer to the MDF, which is more efficient to kind of serve the building. So. And all of these changes, as I said, were already presented at the design development phase. So there's really nothing for us to talk about in the 60% submission to MSBA, which is a good thing. They like to see the changes kind of dwindle off by design development and just focus on developing new construction documents at this phase. And that's exactly the way the project's kind of playing out for us. So what I did here too is just to kind of bring people up to speed on where we were a year ago at schematic design and some renderings to show where the designs progressed since then. One of the value engineering things that Dan had mentioned that we did in 60%, but as part of our whole cost estimating process to make sure that we were where we need to be was to eliminate a lot of the furring that was on some of our masonry walls. The gym, just given its size and the need for durability on the program side of the gym wall is constructed with concrete masonry units. And so rather than constructing the wall with those and then painting it on one side and furring it out with sheetrock and painting and taping all your joints and a lot of labor intensive work, we've just gone to a polished concrete so that the wall is the finished material in the end at the end of the day. So you can kind of see that represented on the back here. We've gone back, I mentioned our lighting package. We ended up changing out what we were looking for as the feature lighting in this space. You can see that we've developed some floor patterns. These can be done either in polished concrete, which is our alternate now, or they can be done with sheet good like linoleum, a resilient flooring product, which is the base bid. We also decided that instead of, you can kind of see on the schematic design, we were talking about solid plastic panels for our wall protection. It is more economical to go to a ceramic tile. So we've chosen a wood look ceramic tile for our wainscot wall protection in the public circulation areas. Looking at the media center, the big change here was really at the ceiling level. We were using some mass timber and exposed wood roof deck at this area. And we've kind of scaled that back to a much more economical suspended acoustic tile ceiling. And we've also continued to work on colors and finishes and things during the design development and the 60% submission. So I think that the space is still going to be extremely bright and well lit from natural daylighting. The ceiling, the acoustic ceiling will obviously help with our acoustics in the room. But I think it's going to be a nice, cozy, inviting space for the students to be in as well, the way it's developing right now. Cafeteria, same thing. We had originally been planning for a mass timber and exposed wood deck on that in that room as well. Again, we've kind of scaled that back a little bit, primarily for cost, but it'll also add some acoustical benefit for us to a series of stepped acoustical ceiling clouds that are suspended. And they'll still kind of step up to the stage opening at one end of the wall. You can kind of see that we've also developed our floor patterns a bit so that wayfinding pattern that's in the public circulation zone works its way into the cafeteria, kind of as the culmination of that path for the public spaces in the building on the first floor. Our breakout spaces, I think this is the last one that I've got to share with you, but you see on the left, the schematic design, we had a lot of sheetrock cloud features that were actually framed and constructed of drywall and painted. We've really simplified the ceiling again in the breakout rooms to be a uniform height, except for one feature that incorporates both the lighting fixtures and some more acoustical panels right over the actual academic or working area of the breakout space. Between that ceiling feature, some of the flexible seating that we've got planned, I think that we've really defined the academic teaching area of the breakout spaces from the circulation zones in the classroom corridors. We've also better defined where the writable wall surface is so that somebody doesn't accidentally just lean against a wall and find out that there's marker on it. And we've added a good amount of storage in the corridors in each of the breakout areas to support leveled reading materials and manipulatives that might be used for some projects that might occur out in the breakout area. And that's, I think, the presentation for tonight. Yes. So really just the idea was to kind of give you guys some images on how the project's developed for 60% now. And I can tell you that there's been a lot of work on the less interesting, harder to understand construction documents, but they've come a long way as well. I think that we put a good set together for the estimators to look at. The commissioning agent also has seen the same set that the estimators did and have gotten us comments back already. So really between now and when we submit on September 19th, it's just making sure that we've addressed all of the commissioning agent's comments and that I'm giving a little bit more time for our HVAC consultants to bring their design a little further along before we submit to MSBA. Are there any questions for us?
Before we move along to the questions, Burke, and just a little housekeeping. I'm going to assume that Kathy, who is on here, is Kathy Hillman. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to have her recognized as being in attendance. She's been here the whole time. So Cindy, can you make that part of the record for us? And now, that said, Bert, what questions do we have? Opening up to the floor for questions for Bert. That is a miraculous no question. Nothing? Wow, that's pretty cool. All right, if there are no questions for Bert, I got a little house cleaning for you again, Stefan. Can we just let me know what you wanted to do? I have update from owners, project managers, and designers, and then a list of for a vote. I don't know what that vote is actually for. And the same thing holds true for the review and vote any value engineering proposals.
Tammy, do we have to vote on the presentation?
So you don't have to vote on the presentation, but we do have to vote on the actual value engineered that we had talked about at the last meeting and that they had just gone over.
Okay, so it just is, again, staying with making sure that we have the process correct. because we know we have to respect the process. We're going to skip item number 5 as a voting piece. And then we're going to go to item number 6. That's the review and vote any value engineering proposals. Is there a motion to accept the V&V proposals as they have been presented?
So moved.
Second.
So I have a motion from committee member Figgy and a second from committee member Cindy Sullivan. Is there any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, Madam Minicucci, can you call the roll, please?
Michael McCabe,
Yes.
Stefan Zaporowski,
Yes.
Shannon Berry,
Yes.
Ray Diaz,
Yes.
Ralph Figgy,
Yes.
Brian Perrette,
Yes.
Shelley Hazlet,
Yes.
Bridget Matthews Kane,
Yes.
Bill Park,
Yes.
Brian Sullivan,
Muted.
Sorry about that. Yes.
Cindy Sullivan,
Yes.
Tammy Teff,
Yes.
Chris Tolpa,
Yes.
Susan Dargy.
Yes.
Thank you very much. The next item is vote to approve the 60% design package for submission to the Massachusetts School Building Authority. Is there a motion to that effect?
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Second.
So we got a whole bunch of people. So I'm going to give Stefan the motion and Ray Diaz the second. That sound about right?
Sure.
Sure. Is there any further discussion on the 60%? Seeing none, Madam Minicucci, will you call the roll, please?
Michael McCabe,
Yes.
Stefan Zaporowski,
Yes.
Shannon Berry,
Yes.
Ray Diaz,
Yes.
Ralph Figgy,
Yes.
Brian Perrette,
Yes.
Shelley Hazlet,
Yes.
Bridget Matthews Kane,
Yes.
Bill Park,
Yes.
Brian Sullivan,
Yes.
Cindy Sullivan,
Yes.
Tammy Teff,
Yes.
Chris Tolpa,
Muted.
Toll booth.
Susan Dargy.
Yes.
Okay, we're at that part of the meeting. Before we go into anything not reasonably thought of before the 48 hours, I'd like to thank everybody for your participation. There are 14 of 16 members here, which is terrific for an August 15th date at 5 o'clock. So thank you for continued support and dedication. I don't believe that there were any items left hanging over, with the possible exception of committee work with Tammy. I don't know if we're where we need to be with that, but it probably was anticipated, so it doesn't belong in the 48 hours. So we're going to kind of skip over for that, but please be cognizant that she probably still needs people to help her out with some of the committee work. Tammy, if you want to send out that message again to anybody to fill any spots that you need, that'd be terrific.
Okay, I will. Thank you.
You're welcome. And is there another motion?
Motion to adjourn.
That's
Second.
what we're looking for, Ralph and Cindy this
And
time.
second.
So Ralph, yes, and Cindy second. And we're gonna get Ray Diaz out before 5:35. Call the roll?
Michael McCabe,
Yes.
Stefan Zaporowski,
Yes.
Shannon Berry,
Yes.
Ray Diaz,
Yes.
Ralph Figgy,
Yes.
Brian Perrette,
Yes.
Shelley Hazlet,
Yes.
Bridget Matthews Kane,
Yes.
Bill Park,
Yes.
Brian Sullivan,
Yes.
Cindy Sullivan,
Yes.
Tammy Teff,
Yes.
Chris Tolpa,
Yes.
and Susan Darcy.
Yes.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thanks,
Tammy.
everyone.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Cindy, if you want to call